All right, so I don't know if this is working or not. I'm assuming I'm live, but hold on. Oh, there we go. I lied. Here we go. Hey, what's up, guys? I don't know who's on here and who's not. I'm assuming I'm live. It's kind of hard to tell. I hope you can hear me. Like I said, this is my first time trying this, so please, um, whoops, please do it. Um, Again, sorry, I was just messing with my comments. Just so you guys know, in terms of comments for this, I'm trusting that it's going to work out. Everything's going to be good. You guys aren't going to use it inappropriately, but if you do, I'm just going to set it to restricted mode. So, nice thing is the school district has like this really nice way of being able to track exactly the almost within 2 to 3 houses of where posts and stuff came from. So just use it wisely. Like I said, I trust you guys. We have a pretty good rapport usually between us. So hopefully it works out. But yeah, I'm glad this live stream works. What I wanted to do was just kind of go over in a quick format. Feel free to throw comments up if you have additional questions. We're going over stuff, but we do have a quiz tomorrow. Woo! Zach's here. Wow, long time no see, homie. I hope all's well with you and Zach Schnellville. Schnell. So, sorry. So, like I said, what we're doing is we're going to be looking at specifically what we're doing in terms of what's going to be on that quiz tomorrow. So again, this will be live. You should be able to rewind it back and forth the way I set it up. But like I said, this is my first time setting these up, so just go with me. But like I said, I think it might be an easier, fun way for us to be able to interact with one another without dealing too much with everything else that's going on. So with that being said, let's talk about the test tomorrow. So the test tomorrow is really going to be on the systems of substitution. That's what we were covering the last few weeks before we went on this hiatus. Getting ready to start new content next week. So we do have to cover a few things. Like we talked about how to slope and y-intercepts interact. So that'll be a portion of the test. There'll be at least 4 to 5 questions probably regarding how the slopes and y-intercepts deal with stuff. So again, if we're looking at those slopes, basically there was 2 ways we could find it. We had slope intercept form, which was y equals mx plus b, and that's the slope. And my b was the y-intercept, and all the y-intercept really is where it crosses the y-axis. So that's important to note. Okay, the other thing we had to talk about was standard form, which was ax plus by equals c. And the capital letters A, B, and C, those are just numbers that are touching those. So like a typical standard form equation would look something like this. Whoops, we'll make that an 8. Okay, so that was our standard form equation. You see how it's different from our slope-intercept form equation. But there was ways you could quickly get the slopes if you just went through it real quick. So like, for example, we could take our slope in a standard form equation was the opposite of A over B. So in this case, it would be the opposite of 2 over 4, which simplifies into negative 1/2. Okay. And then we also could find our y-intercept quickly with that just by taking our y-intercept, or the little b would be just equal to c over b, which in this case my c is 8 and my b was 4, which simplifies into 2. Okay, so oops, can't really see that too much. Let me tilt this down just a hair as I'm figuring out my whiteboard situation. So that's how we would find slope and y-intercept from standard form. And the key thing was, if we knew and we could quickly see the slopes, we could tell how many solutions there were. Because when we're talking with systems of equations, erase all this nice work I just did. Try to make it as clean looking as possible. All right, somewhat good enough. Okay, so as we're looking then at slopes and y-intercepts and everything like that, okay, we had a couple things that came out. Like, for example, we had equations that had the same slope. Whoop, fumble. Got it. Same slope and the same y-intercept. We had equations that had the same slope but different y-intercepts. And then we had equations that had different slopes. And if they had different slopes, it doesn't matter what the y-intercept is. It just, the slopes are different, it doesn't matter. And if we have these three different scenarios, it would tell us what type of solutions we're looking for. Because when we're talking about systems of equations, we could have one solution, no solution, or infinite solutions. So in this case, if it had the same slope, the same y-intercept, it meant it was the same line. So those two different equations represented the same line, which means we had the cool looking infinite solution sign. Okay. So if you look beforehand, you could tell how many solutions there were before you even had to do any work. In this case, if we had the same slope, the same y-intercept, or the same slope, different y-intercepts, okay, that means that we had two lines that are parallel to one another. Okay, parallel lines. I probably spelled that wrong, but I'm in a hurry, which means there was no solution. Okay. And last but not least, if we had different slopes, okay, that just means you had two lines that were going in different directions, basically, which means they're eventually going to cross, which means there's one solution. Okay, and when we're looking at these problems, I would say, bumbling like crazy today, I would say we probably have 90 to 95% of our problems fall into this one solution, where we're finding an X answer and a Y answer. And then 5% probably fall between infinite and no solutions. Okay. Main reason for that being is, let's be honest, math likes you to do more work. So these are the easier ones if you can identify quickly. So they probably just give you less problems. Wish there was an easier answer to that, but here's where the majority of our problems are going to fall. Okay. So that's, like I said, going to be 3 to 4 questions, just reviewing. Okay. Remember, same is infinite. Same, different would be parallel. So no solutions. And different slopes is always just one solution. Okay. Like I said, the majority of the time you can solve it, or you can have a pretty good idea of what you're looking for just by doing those. You don't want to waste your time on one that has infinite solutions, and end up with nothing at the end because, you did all this work just to realize that it was the same line and no matter what you put. Okay, again, now we did look at equations. So if it was infinite solutions on the equation side, you always get an answer that looks like this. Your variables are going to cancel and you're just going to get a number that equals another number, which is true. Okay, when we're looking at no solutions, it always looks like something that's impossible, like 5 equals 7, because no world does 5 equals 7, so that's how you know it's a no solution. And if it was different slopes, you always have one of your variables equaling something. So your x's or your y's or your t's or your m's or your z's or whatever letters you're dealing with never even come into play, because there was always one solution. With these guys, all your letters are always going to naturally cancel. Okay, so which means you're going to get to the end of the solving problem and there's going to be nothing there to solve. Okay, so that was that one. Okay, let me get to my towel and clean up again. That's a little bit better. Okay. Buff it. Okay, so that's what the y-intercepts and the slopes tell us about solutions. Now let's just get into the nitty-gritty of it and just solve a few solutions problems just so we can say we did it. And of course, I left my paper on my kitchen table, so go ahead and take a break. If you have any questions based on that, just go ahead and throw it in my question in the comment side. It should pop up on my screen so I can see it. Let me test that real quick just to prove that it works. Questions should show up here. Well, it does on mine, so at least I can see it. I have no idea what your screen looks like, so hopefully it shows up on your screen. But I'm going to grab my little cheat sheet of problems that work out nicely, and I'll be right back. Okay, so with substitution, you're always usually dealing with, and which helps you so you know. Oh, you can see it. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Walls, long time no see. Okay, so what I want to look at here is a couple things. Usually, when we're dealing with substitution, for substitution. Okay, we always have a slope-intercept equation and a standard. Okay, that's kind of your key sign that you know you need to use substitution to solve is if you have a slope-intercept and a standard form equation. So that works out pretty well. Okay, now the key thing is what do you do? So let's just say we were dealing with something that was like a common one that'll probably show up on your quiz tomorrow would be like 2x plus 3y equals 20. So that's a standard form equation. I have an x and a y on one side and I have a number on the other. And then on the other one, it's not technically slope intercept form, but it just kind of gives you a law ball. Okay, so it says we have these two equations. So this would be y equals 5. So we go up to 5. It'd be a horizontal line that crosses the y-axis of 5. Okay, these two lines have different slopes then because this doesn't have a slope. That one is going to have a slope. So we know there's going to be one solution. So all I'm going to do is take whatever this absolute is or whatever my slope intercept equation is, and I'm going to plug it in to the y of the other equation. So it's going to look like this: 2x plus 3 parentheses 5 equals 20. So whatever followed the y here, I plugged into that equation. And then this is where it always gets like super repetitive. It's always distribute, combine like terms, isolate, and solve. So I'm going to distribute. Now I'm just distributing that 3 to the 5. So my positive 3 times a positive 5 equals a positive 15. Okay. Then I'm going to isolate my x. So I have to move that to the other side by taking its opposite. And I'm left over here with 2x equals 20 minus 15, or minus 15 is 5. Okay. And then I'm going to divide. And I'm going to be left with x equals 5 over 2. Okay. And in this case, since they already told me my y, I know my y equals 5. So that would be the solution to that system. And in the grand scheme of things, okay, it would go like this. And be 5 halves, comma, 5 would be the coordinate. And all that's telling me is the coordinate where they cross. Okay. So that'll be something that'll be on a test. Ones where they just give you a standard form equation and they're going to say y equals this, solve it, and you just have to plug it back in. Okay, there'll be like 2 of those questions. Your quiz is only like 15 questions tomorrow anyways. So you know 3 or 4 of them are going to be on same slope, same y-intercept. Okay, there'll be like 3 that are just y simple plugins. Okay, and then the rest will be a little bit more complicated, but they're all going to have super easy answers. So let's look at a walkthrough of how I like to think through some of those real quick. Okay. And again, I have that practice quizzes. I can't like stress enough, guys. If you do that practice quizzes, pay attention to the answers. The question or some of those questions will actually appear on the quiz, and I'll have some additional ones. So if you can do those, use that as your feedback. If you have any questions, email me. Okay, but another common ones that you will see, these will be the most common test question. There'll be probably 5 of these total to wrap up your test. Will look like these guys: 7x plus 4y equals 10, and y equals x minus 14. Okay. Those are our two equations we have. We have to solve that systems using substitution. So we have a standard form. So this is my standard, and this is my slope intercept form. So all I'm going to do is take whatever's in my slope intercept and plug it into that y. The reason that works is we know a systems of equations, if they do cross, they cross at the exact same point. So I know my y is going to be equal, the same in both equations. So the fact that I know what y equals in this one allows me to plug it in here. So when I plug it in, it looks like this: 7x plus 4 parentheses x minus 14 parentheses equals 10. Okay, now I'm at the easy spot. Now that I've gotten this far, I know I'm basically done. I'm going to get it right if I just follow my steps out. I'm going to distribute, I'm going to combine, I'm going to isolate, I'm going to solve. Distribute, combine, isolate, and solve. That's a rough song, guys. I apologize, but I'll work on it. I'll get it better, okay? So this goes in here, okay? And I'm left with 7x. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 14 is negative 56. And if I made a math error there, it's going to become painfully obvious in a second because my numbers aren't going to finish whole, but that's okay. So I just distributed. Now I'm going to combine. 7x and 4x are my like terms, so that's what I'm going to combine to get 11x minus 56 equals 10. Okay, now that I'm combined, I need to isolate, so I got to get x by itself. That's what I mean when I say isolate. So I have to move that 56. So to move it, I have to add 56. Okay, that cancels, and I'm left with 66 over here and an 11x over here. Looking pretty good for me right now. So right now I'm going to divide both sides to finish getting my 11 by my x by itself. The 11 divided by 11 is 1x. So that's what I want. And 66 divided by 11 is 6. So I know that my x coordinate is going to be 6. That's good news. Okay. Now I just need to find my y coordinate. Now, if I'm smart, I always plug it right back into my slope-intercept form because that's just going to leave me with y equals, my math is minimal. Okay, so I'm going to go y equals x minus 14 is my equation. And I'm going to, in parentheses to replace the x, put what I got for x, which becomes 6 minus 14. The reason I do that is because if there's a negative sign or a number touching x, I still have to finish my math there. So I always put it in parentheses whether or not it's necessary or not. In this case, 6 minus 14 is negative 8. That is my y value. And in a coordinate set, it's going to look like that. Okay. Now on the test, I might ask you, some of them I'll have as the question answers listed like x equals this, y equals that. Some of them I might just have 6, negative 8. I'll probably do one just in coordinate set because it's not as important, but it'll be there. Okay. Let's do another one like this where they're a little bit more complicated just so you can see the walkthrough of it, get amped up, because next week we learn elimination, which is a little easier version of this, but still difficult. Okay. Clear my board. Hey, anybody out there, just for the fun of it, can somebody like post an emoji? I know what it looks like when I watch something in Facebook Live, but I can't tell if there's comments popping up as I'm recording. It doesn't show me. I just see myself talking to myself and I see the people that are in the room. So somebody hit a couple of emojis and then somebody tell me if they can see it or not. I'll wait 5 seconds as I write up the next problem to see your comments in there. Thank you, guys. Okay. So from here, the first thing I'm going to do is find my standard form equation, and then I'm going to find my slope-intercept equation. So my standard form is the one that's on top again. Okay, that's my standard form equation. This is my my slope-intercept. Sorry, my slope-intercept equation. Okay, so now I've identified that. I'm going to take my slope-intercept equation. I'm going to plug it in here for the y up there. Okay. And then I'm just going to do what I do. I'm going to solve it. So I'm at negative x plus 7 parentheses 6x minus 20 equals negative 17. Okay, so now I've taken this equation and plugged it in to the y value of my top equation. Now from here, I'm just going to do what I always do. I'm going to distribute, I'm going to combine, I'm going to isolate, and I'm going to solve. When I distribute, it looks like that. And I have negative x plus 42x, because 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times negative 20 is negative 140. And that all equals negative 17. Okay, so I just distributed. Now I'm going to look for my terms to combine. My x's I can combine, so negative x plus 42x is a positive 41x minus 140 equals negative 17. Now that I've combined, I need to isolate. That goes away. Okay, so now I have 41x equals negative 17 plus 140 is a positive 123. I'm going to divide both sides by 41. That goes away, and I get x is equal to 3. Now I know x is equal to 3. Okay. I'm going to just take that and plug it back into my slope-intercept equation. So I got y equals 6 parentheses 3 minus 20. Y equals 18 minus 20. Y equals negative 2. And if I wrote that as a coordinate set, it'd be 3, negative 2. Okay. That's what you need to do for your test tomorrow, guys. Like I said, I can promise you a couple things. Both those examples that we did on this video are going to be on the test tomorrow. So kudos to you for watching the live stream. That should make it easier for you. If you need to rewind and copy it down, that's fine too. I just want you to get comfortable with the rhythm of everything. Okay. So there's all that stuff. That's going to be, so we'll have probably 4 to 5 questions like this. One of them will ask you to solve or answer it in coordinate form. There's going to be 4 to 5 questions on if you have the same slope, same y-intercept. Okay. And that's going to be the majority of the quiz. I'll have like 3 to 4 questions where I just have something like y equals 5 and then a standard form equation for you to solve out. The easier ones just to get you used to plugging it in. So that'll be your 15 question quiz. Again, this will be the last one that doesn't go in the grade book. It's just for your practice and getting used to it. But starting next week, all this stuff is going to be graded and go towards your final grade. As far as I understand, they haven't quite detailed out how that's going to look yet, but we know it's going to count somehow. So let's just do the best we can. There's not a lesson on my website today. This will count for the lesson, so this should be streaming live, hopefully, on my website. So this should be posted after I'm done with it up there, but I can't promise that. I'm just learning how to do this too, but I thought it'd be an easy way. There is the practice quizzes on my website, which will probably half the questions from the quiz or on the test tomorrow will actually come from that quizzes, and the other half will come from stuff I add in. So it might be a good idea to practice the quizzes a few times. I do have it turned on so you know as you're doing each problem if you got it right or wrong. So hopefully that helps you guys. Any other questions we got there? Anybody want to see any other problems practice through here or work through here for you? I'm happy to do a few more problems while I got you here. Let's see. Not seeing any additional questions. So let's see here. Oh. Huh. There, I put some crying smiley faces up because I get the technology, people. So if I don't have any additional questions, I'll probably, like I said, you can just pop your questions up there if you have them. But if I don't see any additional questions, I'm probably just gonna call it a day. So with that being said, um, it's been about 20 minutes up here, so that there's no lesson or practice. But normally, if this is working out for me, I'll probably do about a 15 to 20-minute lesson on here, interact with you guys, ask questions, stuff like that. And then I'll have just some practice put on my website, make it easy that way so we can run through it and there's always stuff to do. So, yeah, with that being said, I'm going to close this out, guys, unless you have any more questions. Um, that's how I'm going to roll. So, have a good one. I prefer, I like the yeah. Let's see. It looks like somebody did react with an emoji. So I do see emojis as they pop up. So that's nice to know. I'm just making sure. I've been watching lots of concerts on these and people are just constantly doing like emoji fests on here. And so I'm wondering if like there's like a little stream on your guys' screen that's bubbling up that's just like people doing emoji stuff. And if that's the case, I want to make sure I'm on the right side of it so it's not just like blocking out my face. Okay, cool. With that being said, like I said, I'm going to close it down for the day, guys. Have a good one. I'm glad that worked out well. Do the best. I recommend you taking that quizzes, guys. It'll make your quiz, even though it doesn't count, it'll be kind of the process and the form that we're going to be using going forward on all this stuff. So, yeah, have a good one. Enjoy your rest of your Thursday. I guess it's not the weekend yet, and thanks for watching. Oh, if you guys wait a second, I'll go grab my puppy real quick and let him come say hi to you guys too, because he did appreciate all your guys' flip grids the other day. So 1 second, let me grab him. He's out. So 1 second. Hey guys. And this is the puppy Bob Rob, just waking up from the nap. He'll probably start. He's a little unimpressed with me because he was probably in the a good puppy dream at the moment. Oh, good yawn. Yeah. Okay. So again, guys, have a great Thursday. Don't if you have additional questions, email me those questions. Okay, I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Next Monday we'll have our first Zoom type meeting, but like I said, I'm planning on doing these every day just to get them through. So thank you. Have a good one.